I think that I'm tipping into the kitchen right now over a bucket list vacation because I feel like I have, well, and we always feel like we have plenty of time, but I feel like I have time for the vacations where now I've been stuck staring at this kitchen for the last 5 weeks. And how much of a boost would it give me to walk into my kitchen every time and see a brand new kitchen of my dreams? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't walk into my kitchen now and go, ugh, what an awful kitchen. No, I don't think that way. But it would be nice to have some nice new cabinets, some nice countertops that don't like leave a little black mark when I open up a can of something because my countertops are that old. Get a nice new deep sink. Ours is not that deep and it's a double, so not crazy about our double sink. What else? A brand new dishwasher, new refrigerator and stove. We want to make our little, we have a tiny, it's not even a counter, it's a ledge. We have a ledge. That kind of separates the kitchen from the dining area. And we put some bar stools up there because, it's a ledge that's big enough to, hold a drink or something. And I would like to turn that into more of a counter so that you can actually sit there and eat. Of course, then your back is to the water, which I do not like. I do not like to have my back to the water. We do not pay all this money for our mortgage every month so that I can have my back to the water. But that's beside the point right now. So I think I'm going to have to go with the kitchen right now. I guess I'm in the minority. But I will say this. If it came down to a kitchen or a boat all the way. Boat all the way, even though I only get to use it a certain portion of the year. But I would like the money for the boat to include maintenance. Because that's really the cost of a boat is, not that boats are cheap, because they certainly are not cheap. But there's also a lot of money involved in the maintenance of a boat. Today's blog post, what story are you telling yourself that's justifying staying stuck in your life? I was in the same boat as a lot of you, same boat as you a year ago. I had just lost my job. Wasn't my fault. It was just something that happened, again, just like it did to you. Is it unfair? Absolutely. It sucks. But there is nothing we can do about it except make plans for our next move. Think about Airbnb. Think about Uber. Just, think about it. Are you out of work completely right now? Do you think there will be a job to go back to? Or are you starting all over again? Be honest about this question. Because I don't mean to be the doomsdayer. I'm just trying to be realistic. I think a lot of businesses may fold. It's just a reality. A lot of jobs will be eliminated now that the world realizes how much can be done virtually. It's time to get those ducks in a row and figure out your next move. How will you pivot in order to navigate life in this new world? Now, most of us have been telling ourselves these stories for years that are constantly holding us back. Like, for example, the woman who was cheated on by her husband. And she's sworn off men forever because she feels that all men cheat and will ultimately hurt her. 15 years after her divorce, she's still clinging to that story, too afraid to put herself out there again. All men do not cheat. There are really good guys out there. You just have to refine your picker. But not living up to your potential happiness out of fear is very sad. The person who's in their 30s and 40s who is still letting their bad childhood hold them back from realizing their true potential. We have all kinds of subconscious thoughts that keep us stuck in situations like these. Did some of us get the shaft? Yes. But sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves is not going to change anything. I always had a sense that the things that happened to me were unfair for most of my life. I didn't have the greatest upbringing. Now, I did have some amazing opportunities, like going to college, debt-free. I got the chance to pursue my dream job in music and radio. I got an in and really made it work for me. But I chose one of the most brutal, unfair industries in the world. I look back now and I think, is that a coincidence? I don't know. But if I felt like I was subjected to a lot of injustices before, hold my beer. You ain't seen nothing yet. I was stuck for a long time on how much others had and I didn't. I've always considered myself a rule follower, so therefore I felt like entitled to certain things. I followed the path that society dictates is the right one. I graduated from high school, then college, found a career, worked my way up. Yet there was so much I didn't have that I felt other people in my life did have. But they didn't follow the rules. They didn't go to college. They had babies really young. But yet they still met someone, got married, had a house, and money to do things that were out of reach for me. It all seemed so unfair. And I got stuck on it. I didn't concentrate on the fact that I had a very exciting job that I loved to do every day. The people knew my name and were impressed with what I did, that I met famous people and got to go on stage and introduce them at concerts. I had access to a lot of free swag where I worked, and I definitely took advantage while I could. I got tons of promotional products from artists and movies that came out, and I don't think I paid for a concert in 20 years, and I went to a lot. But I didn't concentrate on any of that. I only focused on what I didn't have and how unfair it was. Why did I follow all the rules and still not have everything I wanted? I honestly felt like my life was extra unfair. When I lost my job about a year ago, I already had a leg up in the fact that I had already started to realize that I wanted to focus more on my newfound purpose, which was helping pessimists like myself find a way to become more optimistic, because I knew at this time that I had made a transition for myself. And I was a little in awe of myself when I realized my thinking was completely different than it had been most of my life. I wanted to discover the things that really worked to make that happen for me. So I had already started my blog when this happened. It was only about 2 weeks in when I lost my job. But I often said my theme song in life is Here I Go Again by Whitesnake. That is how I felt when I lost yet another radio job. I did feel the unfairness of the situation. Here we go again. But this time I handled it differently. I was angry, outraged, mostly heartbroken because I loved my job. But when I started harping on how unfair everything was, I realized, yes, it is unfair. What now? Sitting around crying is never going to help you. Yes, you need to take time to feel all the feelings and process your thoughts, but then you need to work on a new plan, one that will work for you. I realize I've operated most of my life on the theory that life has been more unfair to me than most. That is the story I've been telling myself. And I let myself off the hook a lot when it came to working hard, because I've worked really hard and still don't have everything I want. But now that I focus on what I do have instead of what I don't, I know the only way to get what I really want is to work my butt off. Sitting around complaining about how unfair my life has been is never going to change anything. And honestly, there are a whole lot of people that have it way worse than I ever did. But I couldn't get away from my own story. Once I did, I've been the happiest I've ever been. I've done the hard work to figure out the mark I want to leave on this world and how I can do that. It's been a struggle financially at times, but I am really happier than I have ever been. So it isn't all about money. I didn't have all the answers when I started either. I just started with one step. I was doing the blog. I thought, let me turn it into a podcast. Let's see. I kind of got stuck there for a little while. I just did the blog and the podcast. Then I started brainstorming other ways that I could bring in some money. Then I went to my business conference that opened up a whole new world of possibilities and opportunities to me. Keep an open mind. Figure it out as you go. Take the first step and see what's on the horizon. What is the story you've been telling yourself all these years to stop you from realizing your full potential? What can you do right now to start getting over that story and changing the narrative? If you are out of work now, you have the opportunity to consider anything you want with the rest of your life. People will be turning to other people for skills and knowledge now more than ever. The world has changed. How can you take advantage of it? Homework for the weekend. Come up with 3 new ways you can make money. Brainstorm. Think outside the box. Consider every option. No idea is a bad idea. Do you know how ridiculous it probably sounded when the guy who created Uber said, let's do a transportation company, but we won't have to get cars? How do you think that went over when it first came out of his mouth? It's week 1, day 5 of #Hopefulist Challenge. It's done. Week 1. Are you feeling better yet? Have you been doing your homework? Because that will determine how much better you feel. It's finally Cocktail Friday. That's got to make you feel good, right? I hope you get a chance to grab an adult beverage and relax at some point today or over the weekend. Have a fun and safe weekend. And whatever you do, I hope it's fantastic. Now go make today your best day yet.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Next week on #Hopefulist Challenge, commitment.